What's up, everybody? Good evening. Happy New Year's Eve. I think sounds right. All about the viewers tonight. So, got a few things to cover. I'm going to post a link here shortly and pin it to the live chat. So if anybody wants to hop in and join me, they can. Let's give that a whirl. Join. Already bored. Sweet, Steve. I knew you loved me down deep inside. There's going to be the stream link. Anybody that wants to join should be able to do that easy enough. And you go into a queue, and we can bring you into the show if you want to join. Otherwise, you guys can just hear me babble and ramble on about a few other things. What's up, Chris? How's it going? Good evening. So we got Steve, Jack, Ryan talking about some tackle craft. I see Teddy's got himself a new tackle combo for Christmas. That's awesome. Doesn't matter. Rods and reels, fishing stuff is always cool for Christmas. So congratulations on that. I didn't get anything for Christmas that I didn't buy for myself. So fishing wise, anyways. So other than that, I hope everybody had a good Christmas. Hope everybody's got some decent New Year's plans coming for tomorrow. So, like I said, if anybody wants to join, you can just click on that link that I posted, and then you can join the stream on a smartphone, a laptop. It doesn't matter. This will either be the best show of all year because we'll hang out with all of you, or it will be a complete train wreck because nobody will want to join. So we'll find out and we'll learn from this. But either way, the big deal about tonight is really just want to thank everybody that's participated in streams all year long, that's watched my videos. Just want to say thank you, and excited to get 2021 underway and keep growing the channel. So that will be cool. Otherwise, you can also, as always, ask questions in the chat. Those are always welcome. And we'll just do the stream as, yeah, Andrew, we're always here to help you suck less for sure. Thanks for the kind words, guys. Let me know if Facebook, did that link show up on Facebook as well? But otherwise, Teddy says he's going to stay up all night with his cousins. So that's a good plan. I can see that. So I guess while we're waiting, if nobody wants to join right away, I will open up some tackle that I recently got. We'll start out with some baits, and while everybody works up the courage to hop in. So these I actually got today. What's up, Jay? Jay is the guy that parked next to me at the Bass Nation Nationals down at Pickwick. So that's a good question. Am I going to try to learn something new next year? If so, what? I hadn't really thought about that. I have not really set any goals, anything like that, for New Year's, anything like that. I definitely want to do, a bunch of things with the channel, new content, offer more ways to share stuff. As far as new techniques, I really haven't thought about that. I know last year I wanted to fish swim baits more, and that really didn't happen. I mean, I tried them more, but I didn't necessarily get bit more on swim baits. I'm sure as I get a little closer to spring, I'll probably set some of those goals and things like that for new techniques. But we're so far away in Minnesota. Unless I go south here, I don't really that's not on my mind. It's not on the forefront. If anybody else has got any things they want, share them in the comments. If there's things that you want to do. How about you, Chris? What are you going to work on in 2021? But I would say maybe one thing is get better with my electronics. I did get a new Helix, so I'll probably do some upgrades on the boat. So that may be something to look forward to. But technique-wise, I really haven't thought about that yet. Jack says, how was your Christmas, man? It was pretty good. It was low-key with the fam. Kept it small. Kept it intimate with the family. The kids got a bunch of stuff. They got some new phones for Christmas. We ate some good food. Otherwise, it's pretty chill. No fishing stuff that I didn't buy for myself. Learn Humminbird Live View. Yeah, I don't have that yet, but if I do end up getting that, the new Helix I got is definitely compatible with that. So that will be something I may look forward to. If I, it's supposed to come out in March, but is anybody able to get it at that time? Probably gonna be really hard to get. Chris says he caught his first ever steelhead trout today. That's pretty sweet. Teddy's eating gummy worms. That's awesome. Tubes used on the stupid tube. Anything that's like 2 3/4 inches is pretty good. Ice Straight King coffee tube is pretty good. There's a bunch of good tubes from like Get Bit Baits. I've used some Mismo tubes. I've used some of the Big Bite tubes. I'm really just looking for some things that have like good green pumpkin copper flake. That's kind of my go-to. Tom's going to give Neds a try. Where you live, that should be a no-brainer, Tom. Does Dobbins offer military discounts? Yes. I don't know if there's a code to use on the site, but if you call in, I know, join the Dobbins community page on Facebook and ask that question, or send me a DM and I can find. I don't know what it is, but they do offer a pretty healthy discount to veterans through Dobbins. So yes, they do. Doug's going to work fishing with people. That's good. Learn how to break down those walls and fish with other people. Thin walls for tube is usually pretty good. Jay Hood winning the Christmas so far. You got 2 new Dobbins. Which models did you get? Beehive stuff and snow. We have snow too. It's a little chilly. I walked the dog today, but other than that, it was pretty cool. Right there is, yeah. But let's see here. Other questions. Shadow, you got the new. Oh, you got the Humminbird Gen 3. Yeah. Apparently that's supposed to work. Anything Gen 3 and Gen 4 is supposed to be good. I got a Gen 4. I have not thrown the chicken at all, let alone for smallies or largemouth. I think it's more of a largemouth thing, but I don't know why they wouldn't eat that. I haven't bought any chickens myself or any kind of preacher jigs. Andrew says, got to learn how to skip better. Skipping 101 video. Yeah, that's probably something I'm going to have to wait until we get out in the water to do. So that'll probably be a couple months out. It's pretty easy to skip things on the ice, and that you probably won't learn much. What tournaments next year? Definitely going to do the Bass Nation. Definitely going to do the TBF Minnesota stuff. And then I'm kind of thinking about maybe possibly doing the BFLs or the TBF Team Trail or the Minnesota Team Trail. I'd like to do a trail on top of those other tournaments. I just haven't laid them out and looked at what would be best for me, and if I do a team trail, who I would fish with. Baits to get for 2021. That's need a little more information. I guess depends on where you are, what you're fishing for. I mean, there's so many things you can get. Do I cut holes in my stocking caps? No, but I do wear stocking caps over the top of my visors in the wintertime a lot. That's a good question. I did put a poll up on Instagram and to help me decide which visor to wear today, and it was a dead heat, so I took the Arsenal one at this point. But if Arsenal has got the slight edge, so I'm going to rock the Arsenal. If you guys want to vote on that and change my mind, I got the other one here. Illinois Bass. What part of Illinois are you talking about? Like Southern Illinois, Western, Central, kind of like where Gabe and Tin Horse Monty is? I would say, I mean, it's hard to know unless what you got. Some cool things, maybe like the Geek Crack Bellows Grill. Get yourself some new square bills, spinner baits. I don't know. It's really hard to say unless I don't know what you already have, Simon. Maybe give me some ideas of types of baits, and I can tell you which ones I would get in that category. BFLs, it would be the Great Lakes Division 6-pounder 101 video. I've got several videos on that I've caught 6-pounders, Craig. You just have to copy them. Yeah, Jay, I 100% agree. Another run at the national championship. The problem for me is that at our state qualifier this past year, I finished 11th, not 10th. So unless somebody drops out, I don't have a path to the Natty in 2021. So I have the alternate at this point. So hopefully you have a clear path still and you're alive. But let's, yeah, Doug says, let's see the TK baits. I actually have another baits here on the deck first. I actually picked these up today. or actually did a little bait swap with my buddy Tom Campbell, and I got some new Dream Smasher 6-inch weedless shads. And these are meant to be fished on a big beast hook, which I don't have handy. But this is his new color called, I think it's solid gold or something like that. But it's kind of a translucent pumpkin, and then it's got gold. So I think it's mostly gold flake. There might be a little silver in there. I don't know how well you can see that, but I think underwater it'll really light up bright. It almost kind of reminds me of that old like camo or chameleon or camo power worm color back in the day that was pretty good. And I think this will be really good anywhere that you have like golden shiners or juvenile carp or things like that where fish are feeding on it. So I'm pretty excited about this new color. Yeah, 24K gold. Yeah, I think he had a bait drop tonight and they already sold out. I actually got these hand delivered today from Tom. We did a little swap. But yeah, I'm excited to try this one. I've got some of their other colors, but this I think will be a really cool bait. But these are a Dream Smasher weedless gill, and he's got a pretty cool hook slot in his baits for that beast hook. I don't have any beast hooks handy, otherwise I could show you how they rig up. But yeah, I think I'm excited. We're a little ways away from using that. What's up, 23KC? Thanks for joining. Billy says, I plan to learn swim jigs, bladed jigs, on the water swim jig series. Yeah, I do throw a lot of swim jigs, especially if I fish the VFLs. I'll be fishing a lot of swim jigs for sure. Let's see. Let's while we're waiting here, let's look at the TK baits that I got. So I made an order with Tacklecraft or TK, kind of, I don't know, right after Thanksgiving, right after my birthday, before Christmas. They came in. I think they came in just after Christmas. Just the packaging. I got a handful. I think I only got 2 colors here, but I got multiples of them. He did these. He was painting these the very first time on a live Instagram post that he was on, and I was pretty excited about them, so I had to get some. So this is, I don't remember his exact colors that he calls these, but they're kind of a translucent. What's up, Brian? You promised me you're going to hop on. There's a pinned, should be a pinned comment for anybody that wants to hop in and join. But so this is just his, I guess, 1.5 square bill. And this bait, I don't know if it shows up really great, but it's basically kind of like a translucent jank juice, if you're familiar with that color that Baitman or 6th Sense does, with a purple back and a kind of a chartreuse belly side. But it's a ghost pattern. So it's really faint purple and chartreuse. I thought, because I love like the parrot colors and those types of colors in Minnesota so much, that with our clear water, that having a ghost version of this color and so many bluegills up where I live, that this could be a really good color. So and I was pretty excited about these. And then the other one I got is basically is a blue and chartreuse ghost as well. So it's a similar color pattern, but this one's got a little more blue to it and a little bit of copper in the back. But it's a really like, yeah. And I can also paste it again. So if you can't find the pin comment, there's another one. But yeah, these are from Tacklecraft. So I got 2 versions. Shoot. So one is a purple and one is a blue ghost pattern, kind of like a parrot or a jank juice in ghost. So they're not the easiest to see on the stream, but I'm excited about these crankbaits. They're really subtle, and I think they're going to be kind of killer on these clear Minnesota waters where I'm at. So that's the Tacklecraft, and I got a handful of those. I think I got 3 of the blue and 2 of the purple. Yeah, they're going to should be fantastic. Like, I mean, the bright ones work great in Minnesota as well, but I feel like they work really well on like super windy and cloudy days and rainy days. And I think this will allow me to, square bill crank on, more high skies or more calm conditions. So that's the idea here, for sure. Clearwater killers, for sure. That's exactly what I was thinking, David. So that's the baits that I bought myself for Christmas. I actually bought these things because I wanted to see what these were all about. And I wanted to compare them to an actual bladed jig or a jackhammer or a Z-Man custom. I did buy a couple of these clickbaits, and I want to do a comparison video. If I can get out of the water here, I might do some comparison showing what this clickbait is like against a jackhammer or a Z-Man. So I don't know what to think. This actually is my very first Googan bait I've ever purchased. So I'm not sure what to think about this thing, Clickbait, which I think naming wise is one of the most clever bait names I've ever seen or come across from a company like that. So they've got this clever, I guess, way to attach a blade to a jig using this wire. It obviously gets them around the patent issues that Z-Man has, but I think it's going to change, the action of the bait. I expect this bait to actually have quite a bit different action than a bladed jig. I don't know if that's better. I don't know if that's worse, but I expect it to be actually quite a bit different. I can actually grab a bladed jig. So here's a Z-Man Custom, which is one of my favorite baits, and was actually one of the ones I talked about in my top 5 baits of the year. But you can see, if you're not familiar, right, like the mechanism, this is connected, skirt in the way here, right, directly to the eye and tie. The blade is attached, right, and this has got a completely, so on this one, the whole jig needs to like swivel with the blade, whereas this, right, you've got a direct swivel point. So I expect the action to be much different. This one, the Z-Man Chatterbaits click the head. This is only going to hit the wire, so it's going to have a little bit different sound vibration. So interested to see what it's like. I definitely don't see it replacing my customs and my jackhammers anytime soon, but I wanted to see what the action of this bait would be like. Is it going to be harder? Is it going to be more subtle? Is it going to engage right away when you reel, or is it going to like hang? You're going to have to pop it. So I don't know. Interesting to see. Yeah, I would say that's probably pretty accurate. I think it is. The action will be a little bit more scrounger-like, a little bit less bladed jig, but that's why I'm going to take it on the water. And I guess one thing you'll know is that if I give a comparison, that it will be an unbiased opinion, and that I won't be, doing it just for the Googans. Let's see here. It looks like a wood wobble. Yeah. I need to use cranks more. What is a key time and place for 2 to 5 square bills? In Minnesota, I would say over the flats of the grass. Anytime the water's between 50, right? Anytime you're over 50 and below 50, I think it's a viable option. It usually helps if you've got a little bit of wind, a little bit of cloud cover. Anytime, think of it as a place where you use a spinnerbait or a bladed jig, as long as you've got enough distance between the weeds. So probably early in the year, before the weeds get really tall, and you've got kind of that, that'd be a good time. Similar to when you might use a lipless crankbait in. Good videos on customizing the clickbait to make the clickbait run deeper or shallower. Interesting. I think the pike will love any baits we have, regardless of what they are. So, yeah. So other things to note. Pretty excited. We're closing in on 3,000. I think I was creeping up on 2,900 subscribers on YouTube tonight, which I'm pretty excited about. So I don't know if we're going to quite hit 3,000 before tomorrow night, but getting a lot of traction. I appreciate that. For all of you guys that are watching, tuning in, sharing with your friends, that's awesome. Tons of comments, tons of engagement. I love that. When do we start putting the line back in the water up here? Late March, early April is typically when ice out is. There's a few places we can fish. But our season doesn't technically open until like Mother's Day weekend or mid-May. But there are a few places we'll fish. So definitely we'll be getting out in the water early April, worst case scenario, on the rivers or something like that. Any big collaborations? I don't know, maybe. Nothing written in stone. I've got some guests coming up on the stream that we could talk about. Possibly we might do a bonus stream this weekend with Bart, and we might talk about his trip to fish the ABT 100s down in Alabama. So we might cover the Alabama Top 100 Team Trail on this stream, kind of do check-in before the season, check-in between tournaments, kind of follow his journey. Hey, thanks, Gene. Appreciate it. Thanks, Fluke. So that we're going to talk to him potentially. If we don't catch him this weekend, we'll catch him up later in the season. We're going to have the guys from the Sickness on next Wednesday night. So Greg Mansfield and Joe Willard are going to come on. They're going to be talking about their plans for 2021 and tournaments they're fishing. They've got a big full plate. I don't want to talk about exactly what they're going to do. If you know them, you maybe already know. But they're going to be fishing at least 15 tour level or almost tour level tournaments. Exactly, Chad. Am I a pro fisherman? I would say no, I'm not a pro fisherman. I still have a job, a 40 to 50 hour a week job. I fish a lot of tournaments. I fish a lot, but I'm definitely not a pro fisherman. That's not where the majority of my income comes by any means. So that's kind of my qualification as a pro, is like if the majority of the money you make to pay your bills, your house payments, and feed your family comes from fishing, then I would say you're a pro. Just because you fish pro tournaments or fish as a pro or a boater, I don't think that makes you a pro. So that's just my 2 cents. Thanks, Kim. A new Cyclebait spinnerbait. I've looked at it. I've seen some videos. I'm not a huge spinnerbait guy. It looks kind of interesting. That almost, has some like components to it. But I don't really have any thoughts on it. It looks kind of interesting. I could see it being good. As far as other guests coming up, Gussie, probably in January. And I think January 20th, Josh Douglas will be coming on as well. So we'll talk about a bunch of tournament stuff coming up. We'll talk about the Sickness. We'll talk about their tournaments. We'll talk about what they did with their videos, their collaboration with Sobe, things like that. My main job is a packaging and supply chain consultant. What is something you think sets one club apart from others? Payoffs, prizes, banquet vibe. I think, from a club standpoint, I think the biggest thing is like, do you jive with the members? Do you get along with the people in your club? Is it, do they match your thinking, right? Like, do you want a club that's super social? Do you want a club that's super competitive? Do you want a club that shares a lot and helps teach everybody? That's probably the most important thing when picking a club, is to match what you're looking for. So, all right, we got our first victim. What's up, Brian?
How's it going on, man?
Yeah, look at this. Did you forget to wash today, or what's
You're getting out on the ice, doing a little ice fishing, so it's getting trying to keep a little warmth out there.
So Brian, you may recognize him from the practice videos for Pickwick, catching giant drum, carp, white bass, and maybe a bass. But
we got one or two. I got one of those kind. It was a heck of a drum day, though. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, the camera's going when you're practicing by yourself.
Right. Exactly. So you gonna get on and do any ice fishing this winter, or what's your plans for the off season?
Not unless somebody invites me out to a hot bite, but I'm not investing in any equipment myself.
Yeah, you just gonna do some river fishing and whatnot. I saw you were down doing some of that the other day.
I'm thinking about, there's some schemes in the work of possibly going down south, maybe to Texas, maybe doing some things. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm heading down March 23rd, I think, down to Lake Fork. So I got that all booked up. So I'm pretty pumped for that. Go try to catch some of them jaints.
Yeah, I don't want to get too excited, but there's a chance I might go down to Falcon this spring.
Nice.
So, for you guys who don't know, Brian was the top qualifier from Minnesota from the Vermilion Northern Regional as a co-angler, and he joined me down at Pickwick, and we were both fishing the national championship. Myself from the front of the boat, Brian from the back of the boat. I'm going to dig into that. I want to answer Jared's. Any tips for targeting smallies on a small northern Minnesota lake in July? Assuming it's a small lake, means it probably doesn't get a ton of pressure. Just guessing. One of my favorite ways in the summer would be to hit them with topwater. Some small, like bone-colored poppers or walking baits, I think would be a really fantastic way to find them and search for them. Other than that, I would say try some Kitex and try some Neds. And I think between those three things, if they won't bite that, keep moving, because one of those three should work.
I agree with that for sure. Late July, when that sun's up and it's hot, I'm putting a Ned rig in my hand easily. Okay,
so Jay. So I don't know if you remember Jay. Jay was that Nitro, the guy with the sweet beard that was right next to us. This is Jay, next to my boat, right to my upstream side, to the north of my boat in the boatyard. Smallies pre-spawn in Kansas, so you're going to have shad. I think flat side cranks and jerkbaits would be my go-to if I was fishing down there. I don't know. I've never fished for smallies in Kansas, but that would be my thinking for pre-spawn smallies. That's what I would kind of do on the river in Mississippi, and they have shad, so I guess. But anyways, I would look for transitions into hard bottom areas, gravel banks, small rock, looking at those areas where they can get into spawn, and they're not going to be too far away, I don't think. Might be a road trip, might be a plane trip. I know a guy that maybe has a boat down there, so I don't probably have to drive, Chad. So you've had some time to think about your trip to nationals, Brian. Now, retrospect, I know you were like jacked, and then you were like kind of bummed because you didn't catch a lot of fish. But like now that you've had to like, what are your thoughts on the nationals as a non-boater?
It was, of course, it was an experience of a lifetime as someone that's in the competitive bass fishing. So all around, I had a horrible show on tournament days. Obviously I blanked both days, so 0.0 was my total weight. But I caught a fish on the second day. It was a great all around experience. Though these guys and the guys in the front of the boats running these boats, they're some real fishermen, and you really see that when you get to that level. And it was great learning. It was frustrating, and it was it's frustrating when the guys around you are catching them, and you're pretty much doing the same thing, and you're not catching them. But just keeping your head down and knowing that how many people wanted to be in my spot, how many people would have loved to be there. So I think I would have threw that spinnerbait a little bit more. That white spinnerbait, a little bit more.
Yeah, because actually, I know you fished with Matt Robinson on day one. And I know you said he was all about business during the water. He was.
We got it. Yeah, we had a little headbutt really early in the morning, probably 30 minutes into the day. So nothing too crazy or anything like that. But we were fine after that. But of course, always causes a little friction. You're trying to fish for a chance to fish in the elites, and especially as a non-boater, you're really trying to take advantage of every opportunity you get. So that was a fun morning. But he was actually a really cool guy, and I fished with Brent Shores on day 2 out of Wyoming, I believe, and he was an awesome guy. I've actually stayed in contact with him. He runs a company called AccuCall, so he was able to give me a couple of products that he offers. He has a great scoreboard for his inside your lid of your live well, and it's literally just 1 through 5 for your tags, and it's just click it to what your number 1's a 3-pounder, your number 2's a 4-pounder, and it was just the way I've been doing with my old grease pen. So he actually took good care of me, and he sent me a nice package. So great opportunities, meeting people and everything.
Yeah, because actually on day 2, we ended up pulling into a really small pocket next to Matt Robertson at the end of the day, and he was doing his flogging and flipping. And we rolled in with spinnerbaits behind him and caught, I think, like 5 fish, but only one of them was a keeper, but it was like bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. That kind of goes back to what I was saying. I wish I'd have been throwing that white spinnerbait a little more, because when we were practicing, that kind of seemed to be the bait that was working for us.
There it is. Spinnerbait. What is the cost of a week as a co-angler? Expenses, entry. That kind of really depends, Rog Bass, on what your like where you're at. Like, I mean, are we talking the BFL level? Are you talking about the opens? Like where Bryan went to the nationals, everything was paid for just about. We actually got per diem from our state. Lodging was paid. I mean, we had to cover our gas and travel and 2 nights lodging or whatever, but relatively inexpensive week of fishing.
Yeah, for us up here, you know, you join your club, you do your local club tournament, and that's, I think it's $160 a year for me. And then I had to pay a co-angler fee at the state tournament, which was small. I think maybe $100. Otherwise, I haven't had to pay for any of the other tournaments.
And even at the those, we had per diem that covered that. So
exactly.
At the open level, I think what opens are like $300-$400 to enter as a co.
I think $450.
$450.
Like I said, I'm normally a boater. I had boat issues at the state for Minnesota, so I had to slide in as a co-angler. So I'm not too familiar with the co-angler side of things.
Yeah, but so I mean, other than that, you know, you figure however you want it. I mean, are you a camper? Are you gonna get a hotel by yourself? Are you gonna split a room? Are you gonna get into a house? A lot of people travel differently, so it really depends on how you travel. But it's really your entry fees, and then you know, plan on throwing $30, $40, $50 per day for gas to your opens partner for 2 days, right? So I would say $500 plus your car gas and your lodging is what it costs to fish an open.
But the prizes are endless.
Did you get anything for Christmas? Any fishing stuff, Bryan?
Just my usual. I get a big tackle warehouse card from my family, so kind of get the resupplies up for the year and get everything I need to get ready for the next season.
So what's your strategy? Do you burn it all right at Christmas, or do you like the Memorial? Like what's your strategy?
No, I'll kind of dwindle off over the months, watch some YouTube videos, and I'm a big YouTuber in the winter, watching videos to learn and see what I should try for next year. You know, so I'll probably buy a bunch of stuff that I want to try, and that's why I'll waste a lot of it on. Like, oh, I got to try this jerk bait now, or
You're more like, I'm gonna go out and spend $30 here, $60 here, $50 here, like
of this fun money. After I get my main stuff that I need, I want to just I don't need too much stuff. I mean, I guess line is your expensive stuff and your terminal tackle, but overall, I don't need too much stuff going into next year. So it's more just getting baits that I want to try and have fun with, and just they look cool on a video, and go out and have fun with it. I take my daughter fishing a lot, so she likes to fish a lot of topwater. So I bought a Moto Chug. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those bad boys where you pull it and you give it the jerk and the twitch and the line pulls and it like rattles in and it shakes on the water. So she just loves that thing. It's like the most ridiculous lure, but I tell you what, the smallmouth go crazy for it.
Yeah, I have like a godson that I always usually for his birthday or Christmas get him some baits, and he's a little bit younger, so I figure topwater is good, and I like buying him like little ploppers and like some of those little like what's the real natural looking? I'm trying to think who. Lunker Hunt. Lunker Hunt has a bunch of unique topwaters with like little frogs and stuff with kicking legs and things that like make noise, and like some of them are like weedless.
Yep.
So I figure they're kind of safe and probably protect his brother or his sister and his dad from hooks, and you can just throw them out there and like if something's going to come up and blow up, whatever. So that's kind of my thought for young kids.
Yeah, smart.
As a cullinger, how much tackle can you bring with you? Rods, is there a set limit? Some tournaments have a set limit. I think the BFLs and Costa / whatever they're called, the Toyota series, I think they say 7 rods for co's in the FLW stuff. I don't think Bass has any limits. I think you just kind of think, to me as a boater, what I expect is that as long as you can manage it and it doesn't create any slowdown for me when I go to move, right? Like when I say last cast, we're moving, whatever time it takes me to like strap down my rod, pull the trolling motor, and put my life vest on, you should be ready to go too. So if you can, whether it's 3 rods in a tackle bag or 9 rods and a whole bunch of stuff, if you can keep it organized and keep it clean and like be ready, I'm cool. I don't care. Like to the point, as long as it's not like 500 pounds where my boat won't get on plane or something like that. But
one of the biggest problems you have as a co-angler is trying to figure out is 8 rods might fit in one boat, but then you get in another boat and 8 rods is way too many. You can barely fit 4 in. So it's, you really want to just narrow it down to the smallest amount of stuff you can get. 6 rods, 7 rods should be plenty for most tournaments. If you've been practicing and doing your part and figuring out the fish, you shouldn't need 10 rods. If you show up to my boat and you got 10 rods, we know you probably haven't been practicing.
Right. And I'm really and I guess try to have a conversation with your boater the night before. There are some guys that are a little bit douchey and they won't tell you anything, which
Matt Robertson.
But I'm going to try to tell you so that you can narrow it down, because I want you to be successful and I want you to be able to be prepared. And I always tell my guys, if we end up doing something that we didn't plan on doing, I mean, my boat's a freaking tackle warehouse on the water. Outside of a few maybe sacred cow baits, for the most part, I can loan you something that's pretty close or what I'm using, or throw you a couple of extra tubes or beavers or whatever. I mean, so that's, and like I said, if you really feel you need to bring that rod just in case, I let Co's slide a rod or two in my rod locker, keep them out of the way. And then if we really need to get it out, we can, but then that just keeps things clean and organized too. So that's another option.
Yeah, that would be pretty nice there, Chad. Bring the portable live scope. I just got the active targeting I ordered through Lawrence coming in the mail, so pretty excited for active targeting. I originally had set up, I was going to order the live site, and then I was like, another month and a half that comes in, a couple $100 with the great discount that they offer us for our state team. And so I'm really thrilled I'm excited to get down to Lake Fork and just start looking at those trees in there and just start really putting that thing to use. I mean, have you looked into it at all? Or any of that type of stuff?
I haven't looked into
You're a hummingbird, right? You're a hummingbird guy?
I have hummingbirds on mine, so if they come out with that, and I don't know if, I guess one thing, I think the active target looks way better than the live site from what I've seen online. Good call on waiting, I think.
Yeah.
In Minnesota, I'm not sure. I probably won't get both. I'll probably either get Mega 360 or their live version.
Right.
And it'll probably depend on availability. And I think up here in Minnesota, I think Mega 360 may actually be more useful day in and day out.
I definitely agree with that. If I could definitely have my preference, I would definitely say Mega 360 would be the go-to around these parts.
Oh, so Rog he's going from the saltwater to fishing bass tournaments. That's cool. I think you'll enjoy it. I mean, there's some overlap there, and there's some big differences, but I think little less expensive, I think, than a billfish tourney, bass tourneys, from what I understand. Jay says, Brian, have you been to Fork? Oh, yeah, so you've been there a bunch.
Oh, yeah. I've been to Fork plenty of times. I love Fork. It's my every spring I go down there for the spawn. So I can't wait. I met some buddies down there that live on the lake, and I've been able to go down there and catch some giant fish and have a great time. My favorite lake. I'm hoping to retire there.
Nice. Yeah, and it's been a while since I've been there, but when I was younger, I was down there quite a bit, so I'm fairly familiar with Fork as well. It's a cool lake for sure.
All right, well, I'm gonna pop off and let you hopefully get another victim on here. It was great chatting with you.
Well, I appreciate you hanging out.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with you, and hopefully maybe we can get together and fish in the summer.
Good luck down at Fork if I don't talk to you.
I appreciate it, brother. Have a good one.
Happy New Year.
Later. Happy New Year.
Well, thanks for Brian jumping on. It's really that painless. If anybody else wants to try it, it's not scary. A phone, a tablet, a laptop, you can come on. You can say hi for a minute. You can hang for 15. It can be whatever you want. He wants that. So anybody looking for a saltwater boy, hit up Raj Bass. Best trip ever for Jay, 1213 and a 10-0 same day. That's pretty awesome. That would be epic day on any lake, let alone, Fork, Falcon, Amistad, for sure. Although a guy down in Oklahoma just busted a bag. Didn't he have a 50-pound bag? He had a 12, a 10, and a couple of 9, or something ridiculous down in Oklahoma recently. I saw a Facebook or a social media post. So while we're waiting, I guess other things to talk about, unless people got questions, I'm getting some new gear for the stream. I got some cords to try out some different cameras to see if we can get the picture quality and things like that up. Just ordered a new microphone, so hopefully a little better sound. So whether you're watching the live stream or you're the people that like the audio version of the podcast for later, hopefully that will improve things. So yeah, expect that to be coming soon. So if you guys aren't familiar, if you watched the live stream or the Facebook stream for the very first time, or you're new to this or haven't heard me talk about this before, I do an audio version of all these live streams that you can listen to as a podcast. I know some of these get to be pretty long, an hour and a half, 2.5 hours. So if you ever want to catch them up and you just want to listen to them through your headphones or when you're driving in a podcast app, you can just search HellaBass Podcast Experience. Otherwise, I put links to the episodes down in the descriptions of the videos and things like that. So that's available for anybody that's interested. What's up, Bill? Nice you could make it. You're at work, so you're not calling in. Yeah, it was Josh Jones. Is that his real hair in the video? I wasn't sure if that was like some kind of like thing. Like it was some interesting hair. Rod Bass, how big is your Viking? Where is it located and how much do you want for it? He says. So, all right, we got somebody else. Yeah, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. We got somebody. What's up, Tad?
Hey, what's up, Rich? How you doing, man?
Good. Are you in Lakeville or are you in somewhere else right now?
I'm in Arizona. We drove down here. We pulled the boat. We're going to be down here through the month of January and do some fishing down here.
Nice. So you got the Vexus down there?
Yep.
So you just like rent a house, or do you know somebody, or what's?
Oh, my mom actually has a place down here. So she's opening. She lives down here in the winter, so we came down here. My dad passed away 2 months ago, so figured we'd spend some time with her.
Sure.
And yeah, we got the Vexus in the front yard.
It's a little dark.
Yeah, actually, you can see it. But yeah, so we're gonna do. I've never fished down here, so we're gonna explore some of the lakes here.
Are you in the Phoenix area, or what part of?
Yeah, just basically just southeast of Phoenix, Maricopa. We're gonna fish. Plan is to fish Roosevelt and Canyon, and we're maybe even gonna jump in a couple tournaments. So kind of looking into some of that stuff.
I was down there one time for a work trip, and I went out with one evening with a buddy that lived there at the time. And we fished like Pleasant or one of those other like kind of more moderate sized lakes that's pretty close to the metro.
So I know Powell, people fish that a lot, Havasu. There's a bunch of stuff over by California, but we're kind of on the other side. So
no, yeah, the stuff that was like right in the Phoenix area, because I was working in Phoenix, so it was like it's all the lakes they talked about in the Anglers Hour Happy. So what you need to do is you need to go to the Anglers Happy Hour podcast that Josh Bertrand does, and he talks about all those lakes that they fish over there, so you get some insight. Pro tip. So yeah, so you guys know Tad. Tad's a Minnesota tournament angler. He's fishes the Bass Nation, fishes the classic bass circuit. He's fished the opens in the past. Had his share of success at different levels. So, what have you thought about what you're doing next year? Yeah, I know you fishing some opens. Are you still thinking about it?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the opens, the Central Division, the whole thing, and then I might try to just get in the Oneida tournament on the Northern, because my son is in New York, so I thought that'd be a good fit to go up there. And yeah, I have a conflict with Classic Bass, the Champions Tour and regionals, because I made regionals this year for the Minnesota, BASS Nation. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the Champions Tour, and if I do,
quit rubbing it in.
I do end up doing it. I'm only able to do 2 of them.
You're not dropping out? Is that so your way of telling me that I'm not going to move up?
What's that?
So you're not dropping out from the state team?
No, I'm not going to drop out. No, I know. I'm sorry, man.
I'm still in 11th? Okay.
Yeah, but here's the deal though. Connor is kind of in the same boat, so he may, and that might get you there.
So you said there's a conflict with the Champions Tour and the divisional?
Yeah. Nice. So the Champions Tour, the last tournament in the championship, like I could squeeze in Pelican, but then regardless, I couldn't fish championship. And, on the Champions Tour, the championship is, the big prize.
Right.
Yeah. So
I might slide into his DM and start like planting seeds in his head and be like, yeah.
So there's
you, Connor.
Yeah, there's a chance Connor, may bail. So,
and he's had some good success in the Champions Tour. Like he's
yeah,
the money. So from a financial decision, like if that's I can see. All right.
I mean, my heart is with the Bass Nation, so
yeah,
I'm not going to miss regionals. I mean, I love the Champions Tour too, but I mean, it's hard enough to qualify for regionals when I get there.
Especially considering it's lacrosse, supposedly.
Yeah, look, that's where it is. It's announced.
I mean, did it announce it? Okay.
Yeah, they announced it. It's
like
lacrosse.
Publicly or just privately, though?
No, I think it's public. I mean, I don't know.
I haven't seen like an official Bass post. That's what I was just.
Yeah, I guess I might be letting the cat out of the bag, but it's been announced to us. So
I'm guessing they know where ours is. They just haven't locked down them all, so they haven't done like the full schedule. So
yeah,
but yeah, supposedly lacrosse, Wisconsin is the regional, which
it's lacrosse the first week of September.
I'd be pretty stoked. Not a great time of year. To be honest, the fish down there that time of year, it's not awesome, but still. Let's see. Are you fishing TOC this year?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, them too. So for sure.
That's in pool 4. Yeah, it's going on a Rob Shaw.
David, so you are talking about going down to Fork. Have you fished Fork, Ted?
No, I've never fished Fork. I fished Raven a few times and Toledo Bend a few times, but I've never been on Fork.
So he's saying they've got kind of a tiny boat, a 14-footer, and they're trying to decide like hire a guide versus bring their boat, or hire a guide and then also fish out of their boat. I think there's quite a few accesses and adaptive creeks. I haven't been there a long time. I think even if you're going to bring your boat, I think hiring a guide for a day would be a really good investment. So I would say, I don't know how many days you're going down for, but if it's a real short trip, like 2 or 3 days, I'd just say hire a guide 2 or 3 days and just go nuts and hire 2 or 3 different guides and just get a different experience for either one of them. If you're going down there for like a week, then I would say hire a guide for 1 or 2 days, and then whatever you learn, take your boat out, launch in the back of creeks, and kind of expand upon that. I think if you're going in this springtime, there should be fish shallow enough that you could do it. So it depends on what you're up to. What are some good finesse baits for fishing grass on high pressured lakes, Tad? KL Fishing wants to know.
What's that?
KL Fishing wants to know, what are some good finesse baits for fishing grass on high pressured lakes?
Oh man, well, I will tell you this, full disclosure, finesse is not my strong suit. So, I'm probably not the best person to ask that question to. I mean, funny thing is, me and Rich, we fish a lot alike, when it comes down to it. We do a lot of the same things. When I'm finesse fishing, more times than not, I'm throwing a jig worm or a shaky head, sometimes a drop shot, but I don't finesse fish that much. I kind of come from the school of thought where even when they're highly pressured, I'm looking for a reaction bite. So I mean, even if I'm flipping, I typically go up higher in a weight and trying to get a reaction rather than, finesse and slow down. So, and it's not always the right answer, but it's just, just the way I fit. Yeah, that right there, what you're holding, that's my finesse bait. I mean,
yeah, I would say and I think if you don't live in Minnesota and you're from another part of the country, I think this will probably get you a lot of bites because this is really heavy in Minnesota. But I think in other parts of the country, I think the fish haven't seen this as much, which is a jigworm, stickworm, Senko. So get yourself anywhere between an 8 3/16 quarter ounce head with a decent hook. Put your favorite dinger, Senko, Maxent General, whatever you like on there, and try that, right? And target the edges and the pockets of those.
Yeah. And, even with that, when I'm throwing a jigworm, a lot of times I'm throwing a quarter ounce. I'm trying to get that fastball, looking for the reaction. I mean, there are times where I will, go down in size, but especially if I'm pre-fishing and just looking for fish, I mean, I'm always throwing as heavy as I can.
Sure. Yeah. You ever fish Dardanelle? I haven't. A kayak tournament middle of April, I would guess we're probably talking spawn in Arkansas, or at least there'll be some fish pretty close to the spawn. I think you can probably target backwater areas hard bottom, cover vegetation. That's what I would look for without I've ever fished there, but just know what I know about Dardanelle and Arkansas in the spring.
Yeah, I've never fished it.
And I think with a kayak, there's probably some really sneaky stuff you can get into on Dardanelle. That's what I would look to. Is I'd look to like really get into that sneaky water, but because that's the one where Mark Menendez won in the spring. Like he was like digging rocks out of that culvert and like powering through with like a tracker boat. If you remember.
Man, yeah, I do. You have a memory, man. That's awesome. I've always loved your memory of the sport. You remember a lot of the tournaments and what happened.
That's probably because I've had a few less cocktails than you have, and I just haven't killed as many brain cells.
Yeah,
I do have an Eve cocktail tonight, so
yeah.
I know Kevin complains when he comes on and I'm not drinking anything. He gets mad. So.
It's because he's a hook setter.
Yeah. I saw Gabe almost popped in to join, then he disappeared. So I don't. We can have more than one person on, Gabe. So if you want to come back, there's another guy.
And you know what? I got to get going anyways. We got a house full of people, but I wanted to jump in, say hi, and say, hey, dude, if you can, shoot down here.
It's always going to be a little later. I'm trying to think about possibly figuring out a way to get my kids down to see the old man and do some fishing at the same time. So
yeah,
that's
fine. All right, brother. You take care, man. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you, bud. Thanks.
Yep. See ya.
The one and only Tin Horse Monty. What's up, Gabe?
Oh, dude, man, I had a weird echo. I think I had 2 different tabs opened up at one time, so I got like freaked out. And
well, this streaming thing is new to you, so I understand.
Yeah, exactly. So
was that
I could say good show, man.
To push him through. I think that was John Cox on the Red River that was using a 2x4 to push him way through. But maybe it was. I mean, anybody that's trying to get through a shallow culvert probably has a 2x4 or push pull in their boat, so it could be multiples.
Yeah, I've seen the guys fill up their boat with water to get a little low too.
Sure, to get under. Like it's not yeah.
Old school trick.
There was. I'll get to your question here in a second, Chad. There's this Lahamadou chain and Alexandria train up kind of central Minnesota, and there was some lakes back in the day. It was to get Victoria and Jesse, and the culvert to get into Victoria was really like if the water wasn't really low. It was a low clearance deal, and a lot of times you'd have to like take your windshields off your boat or things like that. Like that was things that we had to do to get back in that lake. Tonight I am drinking Captain Morgan with Diet Dr. Pepper.
It's a gentleman's drink.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit sophisticated, a little bit party. It's kind of like a mullet, It's like a mullet in a cup, basically.
That Angler's Happy Hour, man. I heard you guys talking about that earlier.
Yeah,
that's a great podcast. That's one of my go-tos for sure. It's like a Bass Talk Live, and then I roll over to English Happy Hour, and I'll throw a little Luke Duncan in there, and mix in some other stuff. But those are great. Those are a great group of guys, man. They got some great stories. Their storytelling is just unbelievable. Just from all the places they've been, all the things.
You don't get bombarded. I mean, there's some fishing nuggets and things in there, but it's more entertainment, fishing-tainment information. White Whale says, "What's up?" Jay says, "Hi."
What's up, Jay?
I like Gabe. Gabe's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, I've been called Dave. I get Dave a lot. People call me Dave. It's all good. Whatever. Been called worse, right?
Yeah. So what's I don't know. How was your Christmas? Any goodies?
Let's see. Just probably my favorite things were my stocking stuffers. It's kind of a funny story. I'm real bad about giving gift ideas for people, and my wife called me like 2 days before Christmas, and she said, we're on our way to Academy, and if you want any stocking stuffers, now is the time, because the tackle warehouse order that you gave me, it's too late to order that. I'll never make it, so I need some ideals. So I said, I told my daughter, she was on her cell phone, I said, okay, pull up your messages, and yeah, what's that? Oh yeah, you're right. H2O. Yep, exactly. They got a lot of good baits there. But anyway, long story short, I started throwing out all these names. I said, yeah, if you can get me some like Reaction Innovation Beavers and the Hematoman, Dirty Sanchez. Said you can give me some skinny dippers, some chatterbaits. I started blasting out all these names, and she thought I was just kind of messing with her, joking with her. And I said, no, if you can't find that stuff, just go ask the clerk for some sweet beef.
This is like actually the most common stuff you could ask for, believe it or not.
So they got all those, and I was surprised, man. It was great stocking stuffers, but it was low key, dude. We just we went over to my mom's house, and there was just a few people over there. My sister was supposed to fly in from California, but the COVID deal, she didn't fly, and my brother was supposed to drive down from St. Louis, so he stayed up north. And it was just it was laid back and low key, but it was perfect, man. How about you?
Yeah, it was really small. I didn't really get much. My wife asked me what I wanted, and I made a big giant list on like a Pinterest board of like all the things that, you know, like gift ideas for myself. And then I just got like socks and underwear and clothes.
Classic.
I had like AFCO Reapers and AFCO hoodies and like all these like things that I would want to buy that I just haven't bought, and thought maybe I'd get lucky. I put a GoPro 9 on there. I didn't get that.
Yeah, I got some hoodies for my birthday. Some of those AFCO hoodies. So
Yeah.
I'm good on the hoodies. Those are nice, man. Those sun hoodies. Instead of wearing
the sun hoodies, I wanted some of those like warmer like Reaper type style, but I've got a bunch of like the AFCO sun shirts, like the Jason Christie, and just some of the other like sun hoodies, the long sleeve ones. I like those a lot.
Yeah, I really dig those. I bought one from Academy about 2 years ago, and it's in almost every one of my videos. And I thought, well, it's time to upgrade and get some new sun
same shirt every single video.
Yeah, it's good for editing. I mean,
you are like, okay, let's make a donut. Let's like and subscribe so Gabe can get himself a new shirt.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why everybody recognizes me out the lake, because I wear the same clothes all the time. Like, it's the goatee and the same shirt. They know exactly who I am. You're
a postal carrier, right?
Yes, right.
Like, how many times do you get like a tackle warehouse box, or what? I mean, they don't. I guess some of their stuff comes UPS, not a lot, or USPS, but some of it. But like, you must get some parcel. Do you ever get something like, man, like I know what's in this box, or like, oh man, I wonder. Like, do you ever like get people's fishing packages and thinking like, oh man, I wonder what's in here, or like.
Oh, well, a rod tube. When you get a rod tube, you know exactly what that is. Yeah. So you can kind of tell if it's that 7'6", if it's like a 6-footer. And yeah, when the tackle boxes were a lot more popular, like Lucky Tackle Box and Monster Box and all that, there was a few people on my route that would get one of those every month. And sure, I shook it up, and I never opened one, but I was kind of curious what was inside of it. But yeah, anytime I see something from a tackle warehouse, I'm actually alerted to the person that lives in that house, going, okay, so they're one of me. You're
trying to like look like, is there a boat? You're trying to look like exactly. Like
yeah,
like should I say hi?
Right. If their garage is cracked, I'm stick my head under there and see
a kayak. Has he got a tracker? Has he got a vessel?
Yeah, there's actually quite a few fishermen that live on my route. A lot of guys there's a lot of crappie fishermen that are on my route, and we've all become good friends. They'll be out in the driveway cleaning crappie when I'm delivering their mail, and they'll kind of clue me in on what the bite is, what's going on.
Better if they were frying it.
Yeah, a nice little fish sandwich for the road. That'd be right.
All
right. Exactly. Crappie, good stuff, man.
So you've had some decent traction this year with your channel. So if you guys don't know, Gabe here has a channel, Tin Horse Monty, and he does some stuff with Backwoods Bassin', right? You guys kind of collab a lot, work together. You do streams on Monday night, head to head with the Serious Angler on Monday nights.
Right.
For that Monday night streaming slot. Like, there's no like night to stream when you're not streaming against somebody else. So
it's really popular.
But so what's new with your channel? What are your plans? You're still fishing. You're doing winter, like, so you're still getting out fishing a little bit, right? Coming to a close, or does it ever shut down completely for you, or is it
not as until the water gets hard? And it doesn't around here, really. I mean, it'll get ice on it for a couple weeks typically, and then I usually go to Lake of Egypt, which is a power plant lake over in southern Illinois. And interesting thing about that lake is they closed the power plant. Well, they didn't close it down, but they limited the production to about 40% this year. So typically, even in the middle of the winter, you would have high 40s, low 50-degree water temps. And this year it's going to be I don't think it's going to freeze up, but it's going to be a lot colder than what those fish are used to. It would typically be probably a 12-degree swing from the back of the lake to the front of the lake. So a power plant to the back would drop 12 degrees. And from what I've been finding this year, it's only going to be about a 5-degree swing. So everybody around here is kind of
freeze on the far end.
yeah, it's definitely going to freeze on the far end. So everybody's kind of nervous about that. But yeah, man, I fish all year long, dude, as long as it's, you know, not too crazy. Like today,
like a cold snap for a week or so here and there where you're not going anywhere, but like
yeah,
more than a few weeks or so.
I'll go out there as long as the forecast is going to be right at freezing. If I know it's going to get close to freezing, I'll usually go out there as long as the wind's not too bad, especially if the sun's out, you know, even if it's 30, 31. I just don't like the thing that bugs me is when I get ice in my guides all the time and I got to sit there and fight that all day long. It's hard on your line. You get a lot of backlashes and it's just, I don't know. It's just a pain in the butt. I mean, but if I hadn't been in a week and I got a day off and I can go, then I'll go out there and putt around for a little bit.
Nice.
So, but yeah, I'll have content all winter long, man, as much as I can get out there. And it gets slow. The water temps are about 42 degrees right now. So everything's slowed down. It's kind of gotten to be kind of a jerk bait, Alabama rig. I caught some fish the other day on a shaky head, you know. Everybody loves the shaky head, but a lot of times that's the only way you can get a bite around here, just fishing real slow, like a little finesse jig or a shaky head. If the bait's not up high in the water column, it's down on the bottom, you got to drag something really, really slow and just go finesse and go light and go slow to pick up some bites. But yeah, you got hard water up there, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, there's one place that stays open that I go fishing for smallies a little bit, but it's a little ways from the house. And the problem is it gets cold enough here is you don't want to be. If I had a boat like yours, I would do it, but I'm not going to be taking the fiberglass boat down the salty, gross highways. And, you know, like when you pull it out, if it's below freezing, you know, you got potential run into issues with, you know, freezing. And, White Whale says you should be stopping your stickers off with these people. When you see they get a subscription box, then that's kind of how you build up your subs.
That's a very good idea. That's a very good idea. I have some little 10 Horse Monty, business cards, and I have dropped a few of those off in boxes that got like Bassmaster magazine or something. Yeah, I don't know. Shameless plug.
Nice. You got any big plans for your channel? You got anything new? Anything you're doing? Anything exciting?
Well, we're just trying to, me and Greg with Backyard Bass, and we're trying to just continue to get good guests on our live stream. That's like you said, that's Monday night at 7:30 Central, and we've been pretty consistent with that. It's slowly starting to grow. And, you know, what we try to do on that channel is mix in some kind of national folks, some professionals, but a lot of the local guys. You know, there's a lot of local sticks in our area. A lot of guys that are really good in tournaments and just good fishermen. And
Jay.
Yeah, exactly. Jay was on last week. He did a great job. He's a great fisherman, local stick, just like you said. But those kind of people that haven't been on a lot of live streams, it's good to have them on there. And they're a lot of the people I've heard of, but I just haven't met them. So it's kind of a way to meet those people and just kind of introduce them to the people that watch my channel. And so yeah, we're just trying to focus on that. And I'm just trying to grow the channel. And you know, I'm editing, man. I'm kind of tinkering with editing each time I try to do something a little bit different. I'm trying to dial it in. Just trying to find a niche, you know, without being fake. I'm trying to keep it real, you know, Mikey Balls, #real fishing. So, you know, I guess the downside is where I live as far as producing content that attracts a broader audience. If I lived somewhere like a big destination lake, it would be easier because you could just do fishing reports, you know, and go out and do a weekly fishing report and you'd get thousands of views on just that video. But I live in Southern Illinois. Nobody's really traveling from Florida or California to Southern Illinois to fish in a 3,000 acre lake. So I just I gotta play with the hand that I've got dealt, and I'm learning. I love it. It's a great area. We got
road trip into Kentucky more often.
Well, you're right. And Lake of the Ozarks. In fact, we're going to try to get together and do some video down at Lake of the Ozarks sometime really soon. That's a real good winter lake, and he knows that lake really good. So yeah, that's basically it, man. Just trying to stay consistent, you know, and keep peace.
I found that I've been watching a lot of editing videos lately, like just to get better at my storytelling and my editing and trying to streamline and spruce things up and do things like that. And I was saying earlier that I bought some more lights, I bought some more microphones, I bought some more cables to try to do some different things, possibly try to use my GoPro as a streaming, things like that. Don't tempt me with a good time, Jay. It's actually not that bad of a drive, maybe. I do have vacation time I do have to burn up. So if I don't go to Texas, I'm going to be looking for ways to use up some vacation in the first quarter.
Yeah, come on down, man. Come on down. We almost made it happen not too long ago. You looked at the wrong Kincaid. That Kincaid with the KINCAID versus KINKAID. Yeah. So yeah, we got plenty of places to fish down here.
But the other thing, starting to do is trying to like find more ways to do things with my content. I'm looking to I'm gonna do stream highlights. So I don't know if you saw that. I took a bit of the Hallman interview and I made that into an Instagram IGTV, and I'm going to be posting some highlights to YouTube. So like for the people that don't want to, watch 2.5 hour stream on YouTube, I'm going to give them like 7-minute chunks of like something cool that happened. And I was actually like just breaking down our first show, and I was there's like a 7-minute section where you talked about like how you'd attack pre-spawn bass on Kentucky Lake with like crankbaits and flat sides and things like that. So that'll be coming to so I'm going to start mixing those in. So looking for ways to just bring more content, repurpose it, tee it up in ways that's more digestible for everybody, because I know everybody wants to watch a 7-minute tip video, not everybody wants to watch a 2-hour live stream. There's different ways to do that. So that's kind of some things I'm trying to work on to serve things up this year.
Yeah, I was thinking about, it's funny that you did that today. I saw that, and I've been thinking about doing a similar thing for the last week or so. But I was thinking this is something that may interest you, but doing like a video, like a small video before I have a guest on the live stream, just to talk about who they are, where they come from, and what the stream is going to be about. Be a good way to get some extra content for that day, the day of, kind of like a little introduction video. And then also, like you're talking about, taking the highlights out of the live streams and making little clips out of them. That's a really cool idea, because I mean, you nailed it. It's nice to have just several little clips of all the good stuff that happened in the live streams, but some of them are so good it's hard to cut them up.
Yeah, and what really like got me thinking is like there was like that 95 minutes into our 2-hour and 50-minute live stream, I thought Brad laid down some absolute gold for tournament anglers, that people that think they may want to go pro someday. And there was about a 7-minute like dialogue of him just kind of like laying it out, and I was like, more people need to listen to this. And I know, sure, I get a few thousand people that listen to the replay, or 1,500 or whatever, but there are literally hundreds and more, or thousands of more people that need to hear what he just said, and they need to think about this. And so I was like, I need to get this out. I'm going to post it on Instagram. I'm going to cut it up as a separate video, so more people can hear this. And then like I put it on Instagram, and like the response has been like not necessarily huge numbers, but like other pros being like, yeah, preach, brother, preach, Brad. So like I know it really resonated. So yeah, thanks, James. I appreciate it. Glad that you love the channel. Lake of the Ozarks, sure, yeah, for sure. And I actually bought my boat on Lake of the Ozarks several years back on the north end from Pro's Choice, used boat, so in Warsaw. So I have been down there and fished one day on the north end, the river side of Lake of the Ozarks one time. Yeah,
it's a big lake, man. I think it's got 60 or 70,000 docks. I don't know the exact number. And
I like fishing docks. That's dumb.
Yeah, that's right up your alley, dude. And nobody runs you off of them. Around here, we got a lake that has docks, but we can't fish within 10 feet of the dock. So it's so frustrating. It's like seeing a big juicy laydown. You can't pitch up in there. It's not even fair. They should almost put covers around the front of them so you don't even see them. But yeah, it is what it
is. So the mics. So now a new camera. I got some new cords to possibly dabble with using my GoPros as a stream camera. I've ordered some additional ring lights just to give me a little more like light, like up here for doing baits and previews. On top of I built some kind of my own like studio lights, which I think are decent, but I just want to add as another option. The mic was just like, I don't remember the exact name brand, but it's like I watched a bunch of videos on like what was the best, podcasting studio mic for like less than $50, and I bought one that was like $40.
Was it a Rode?
No, it's not a Rode. I forget what they call them.
Yeah, I got a Shure mic. It's a podcasting mic. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
it's the one we use up there.
So we'll see. This channel is not making like huge buku bucks, but I wanted to reinvest some of the money. So we'll see what kind of quality pickup we get. That might show up before my bonus stream, but if not, I think you'll see that mic for next week when I sit down with the guys from the sickness. So, but otherwise, people ask about collab. So I'm going to definitely collab, do more streams with, I'm sure you and I will hook up over the winter again. I'll do some stuff with Baitman, possibly Epic Eric again, and some of those guys. It's pretty easy to do these streams. Definitely want to do more fishing collabs, hopefully this summer. We'll see. I tried to hit you and Bateman on the way back, and both of them fell through on the way back from Alabama. So that was just unfortunate.
You'll have to make it down to the Nationals again, and hopefully it'll be somewhere south of where I live at, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, for sure. But otherwise, the other thing is so this is kind of a good question. So I'm starting to look and talk to people about some logos and branding. So if anybody here in the audience knows somebody or wants to help me, I'm looking to do some logos and kind of make the HellaBass brand, at least put a logo with it and possibly do some things that way. I feel like there's enough there to start working with that. So, if there's a listener that does that kind of stuff, I think all the better. I'd rather work with somebody that like watches my streams and watches my videos that really understands. I feel like if they know me, they're going to help make the best logo possible versus me just hiring a stranger. But so if anybody's got any ideas or people that do that, hit me up on Instagram or Facebook, and I'd love to talk to you about it and how we could do something. I want to kind of like work on that as well. So those are some of the things I'm working on for the channel.
Keep it in the family, man. Keep it in the family. Yeah. I got here's my little logo that we got a friend that lives in Lawrence, Kansas, and she's a really good artist, and she drew up this basic design. I mean, it had a lot of earth colors and stuff, but you'll find out when you start doing it. Yeah, there you go. So it's pretty basic, man. 10 Horse Monty. I'm out there in a little John boat with a little 9.9 kicker on the back. Kind of an old school pole with the big reel on it. It's kind of it's got that retro look, I think. But the original design had a lot of earth tones in it. Had a sunset in it. It had probably 6 to 8, maybe 10 colors in it, and each color is an additional price on anything you put it on. So I had to kind of simplify it and just go with one color for now. Like I got these T-shirts that I've been selling, and if I would have made it the way I wanted, I couldn't sell them for, they'd be like $25 or something, $26. So you got to kind of, I don't know, you got to find some kind of happy compromise somewhere. And it's just, on the back it says support local fishing.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple, but it's
so if anybody wants a T-shirt, they can just what? Do you have a website? Or is it links in your description in your videos or what?
Yeah, hit me up on Gabe Montgomery Fishing or 10 Horse Monty on Facebook, and then 10 Horse Monty 6 on Instagram, or my YouTube channel, 10 Horse Monty. You can shoot me a little message there, and I'll ship them out to you. We got large and extra large. I got the blue color, and then I got the heather gray. It's just your standard kind of sports gray, but I think it turned out all right, man. It's a great way to support the channel. I'm not making much money on it, but I just, just something extra to throw out there.
Yeah, I have talked to Topwater Boys, but I just want to throw it out to some of my audience and see, what else was out there. He's definitely on my list of people, and I have reached out to him. I cannot believe you haven't got your flat set, St. Chris. That's crazy. I'm gonna have to check that tracking number when I get off here, because that's nuts. I'm pretty sure I sent you the tracking number, so that'd be a shame. That's weird, because I sent those I feel like I sent those before Christmas, so that would be weird that you haven't got those. Yeah, what's up, Drew? Thanks for making a live show. New Year's Eve, the holidays. So sometimes the holidays are more busy for some of us, and sometimes some of us have more free time. So, yeah, this is just awesome. A little bit kind of freestyling show. This is a little weird starting the show. It's been a while since I've done a solo stream, and I know man, and some of those guys do solo streams all the time, but I felt a little weird at first, just answering a few questions and stuff. But
yeah, it is different when you got a guest to focus on. That's what one thing about Greg is there's another person there with me, which is completely different too. They're all different.
Yeah, I feel like I'm much more comfortable in my element and like just like going back and forth with a guest and digging into fishing topics. That's what I really enjoy. So I don't know that I'll do a ton of solo live streams. I'm just definitely planning to have a bunch of guests. Yeah, so hopefully there's hope that those flats still will show up and they're just.
Yeah, I think that question might pertain to
Gabe,
me.
what's up? Why is it taking 3 weeks for him to get his flat sides that I sent him? What's going on?
Well, let me tell you. Let me give you the politically correct answer, not necessarily the insider answer. I'll give you the professional answer. We've been swamped by Amazon, short-staffed. Our partial volume's up like 30% over last year, and last year it was up like 13%. So, long story short, it just got to be so much that we got backed up, and that should be clearing up. They put a bunch of crews. We had a bunch of stuff hung up in St. Louis for quite a while. I mean, a lot of people around here, you know, they look at their app and it said sitting in St. Louis for 8 days, for 10 days, for 12 days or whatever. I mean, I even had parcels sitting up there, and we had it was just ridiculous. But I think they put like 30 additional crews just working specifically on the parcels to get that going. So it should be, everything should be starting to smooth out now that things have kind of slowed down. We got returns. People get stuff from Christmas and they don't want them, so they return them. So there's some influx in parcel activity. And then you got people using the gift cards and stuff that they've got. So there's some more stuff that's getting put in the mail stream, but it should be getting back to normal really, really soon. But we're well aware of the problems that people have been having. Not that I'm a official spokesman or for USPS, but that's basically in a nutshell what's going on.
And I've heard you probably have, I'm sure there's some contributing things where you probably had some outbreaks in some local areas and places where you're short staffed and things like that. And right. So that doesn't help things.
I was just going to say it's a big operation, man. You get a little bit of chink here and there, and it really just kind of slows the flow down. So you're right. That's kind of what happened too.
I know, like my mom sent me a Christmas card on Monday. She's like, "Did you get it?" I'm like, like, clearly you haven't been watching the news if you thought my card was going to get here when you mailed it on Monday.
I know. Yeah, I've had several people let me know that they're waiting on a parcel and it's stuck in this spot. Why is it stuck in this spot? And I'm just a messenger. I don't know. Don't kill me.
You're like, I'm like the very last step.
Yeah, I'm the grunt, man. I'm that, that little grunt out in the field that's getting shot at all the time.
Like if it said it was out for delivery and you didn't get it, then call me. That was my fault. But other than that,
right.
Right. Have you ever fished Ranger Bay? I have no idea where Ranger Bay is. Do you?
Probably a Ranger Bay boat. I'm thinking like a saltwater type boat. Maybe they got the center console. Just
in a Ranger Bay boat? I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I've never fished Ranger Bay either. Is that on Mille Lacs?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not Lance Armstrong, but that'd be a nice sponsor. I don't even get free stamps, man. I think when you work at a place, I used to work at Chick-fil-A. We got like 50% off our food. I worked at Polly Ice Pizza for like 3 years. We got 40% off our food. I mean, I don't even get 10% off our stamps. I pay full price. I think we should get a little bit of it.
You get free flat rate boxes.
Yeah, we get free boxes. I mean, if I was homeless, I'd have to stay. Yeah. Yeah, but I do it. I don't do it for the accolades, man.
Yeah, I don't know where Basswood is either. Sycamore says you're doing a good job.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I know where Basswood is in Minnesota. We have a lot of lakes in Minnesota, so that one I am not familiar with.
You got like 10,000, right?
Yeah, or 15, 14.
It's like 11. Somebody actually had a number. I saw like 11,300.
It's anywhere between like 11 and 14,000, depending on how small a body of water they call a lake.
Yeah. That's I never did understand what is a lake and what is a pond. I don't know. It's not important.
So you got any techniques, any baits that you're excited to employ in 21, like new this year? Like what are you going to work on?
Man, I've been working on my spoon game, my offshore spoon game. My buddy Ron lives over on Egypt, and he's been throwing that spoon around. I try it every year. I'll try it. I start out wanting to learn it, and this year I've been practicing it a little bit more. It's just scanning, finding bait balls and shad relating to them, and out there deep offshore. And if they're down there close to the bottom, within like 5 foot of the bottom, just a 3/4 ounce to 1 ounce spoon, and just trying to catch them that way. And the blade bait is another one that I throw it and I don't catch anything on it. I mean, I'll catch like 1 or 2, but I haven't got on a good blade bait bite. So that's another thing that I've been trying to mix in my arsenal. But I went out there the other day to do that, and the fish just weren't set up right, so I had to fish a shaky head. So you just never know, man. You never know when you go out there what you're going to end up catching fish on. But 38 acres is considered a lake. Okay.
Anything is, I think in Minnesota, in some cases, yes.
I would say that's a lake, definitely. To me, like 5 acres is a lake, like over 5 acres, roughly. That's just my take on it.
I had some success on some of my trips to Fork using spoons when we were there a little earlier. We catch a lot of bar bass, but we also catch some bass. Lake baits, I've tried them a little bit in the rivers here. And I've caught some monster catfish on a blade bait, but only a few bass. The Rapala ice jig, maybe you need to try that.
I bought one last winter. I haven't thrown it yet. I mean, I usually drop it's a drop shot. I'm usually throwing down a drop shot on top of them. I was catching them dropping a shaky head on them the other day too. That was kind of something new that I hadn't really done. I've seen guys do it with a Ned rig, but I hadn't quite done it with the shaky head, and it was working. I mean, I was getting a few bites, so that's something else. Chad, where you from, man? I'm from Cape Girardeau, Missouri area, so I'm about 100 miles south of St. Louis, and I'm right on the Mississippi River. Just on the other side of the Mississippi River is Illinois, and I fish. Most of my videos and content are from Southern Illinois area, just because it's about an hour drive to get to some really good lakes over there. On the Missouri side, most of those lakes are an hour and a half. I'm like 4.5 hours from Lake of the Ozarks and 5 and change from Table Rock. So I typically just shoot across the bridge there and fish over near Carbondale, Illinois, in that area. There's tons of like 900 to 3,000 acre lakes over there. There's probably 6 or 7 of them that are really good. So it's anything from grass to rock to standing timber. There's a little bit of variety over there. And if I go up even further north into Illinois, there's more power plant lakes. So there's plenty to do around here. But yeah, everything I'm doing is basically from the southeast Missouri area. I'll go down to Kentucky Lake sometimes too. Like I said, Table Rock, Lake of the Ozarks. But most of it generally is in this little area right here. So,
hey Logan, there was some major feedback when I turned your audio on, like squealing sound.
I hear that too.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's background noise or.
Yeah, Carbondale. Sycamore says Carbondale. Yep.
Is it better now?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, we can deal with this.
All right.
What's up, Logan? How's it going?
Good. How about you?
Good. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
What's up, Logan?
Where are you? I forget. Where are you from, Logan?
Madison, Wisconsin.
Madison, Wisconsin. We won't hold that against you. You're probably a Packers fan.
Yeah, I see PJ3P says Rush, Cape Girardeau. Yeah, that's Rush Limbaugh's hometown. His brother has a big law firm, Lindbergh Law Firm. It's on my route. Well, it's not on there anymore, but I delivered their mail for, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years. So, yep, it's hometown of Rush Limbaugh. Like it or hate it. Depends on where you stand.
Nice. So, Logan, did you get any fishing stuff for Christmas?
Yeah, I got LiveScope for.
What?
Somebody was a good boy.
You just got LiveScope?
No big deal. I just got a LiveScope.
Little stocking stuffer.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah, that was like
Nice.
my only gift. Yeah, my dad wanted it too.
It's like a family gift.
Yeah, kind of.
Open it. So is that going on the front of the boat, or is it like an ice LiveScope, or what's the?
It's gonna go on the front of the boat. Yeah.
Nice.
Sweet.
What kind of boat's that going on?
We just got a Phoenix.
Nice. Like which one?
it's an older one. It's a 2010, but it's still, for me, I feel like it's brand new.
Sure, like a 720 or
It's 719.
719. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it's an upgrade from my Smoker Craft, which is like a bass tractor, 175 with a 50 horse on the back.
Yeah, I feel you guys. Like I got socks and underwear and some t-shirts and a couple hoodies. And
I got a pack of Zoom Speed crawlers.
I got a LiveScope. It's no big deal.
Well, that's awesome, man. So you got a,
Really,
got a
Logan,
new boat and a new live scope.
More
Yeah.
well behaved than I
Excited
was
to
this
use
year.
it.
Yeah, that's great, man.
Hoping to get better at fishing out deep.
Sure. So what are you fishing this year? You just fish for fun? Do you fish any tournaments?
I fish a lot of tournaments. I'm gonna do the BFL, the Great Lakes Division as a coangler.
Nice. I might do that as a boater this year. I've done it before. We'll see what the schedule looks like. But that's a great way to learn. Have you fished lacrosse in the river quite a bit before?
Yeah, I fished the high school worlds on there this year.
Sure. Yep.
And that was a cool experience. And then I fished a few other high school tournaments. And then Pool 10, my friend has a camper on, so I go there a lot.
The comments are hilarious, right?
Everybody's jealous, man. Everybody's
Like,
jealous.
I got a chocolate Santa. I got a Turner.
Got a can opener.
Yeah, like nice. So are you still doing the high school stuff, or are you moving out of that, or what?
I'm still doing the high school stuff.
Okay.
I'm a junior in high
Nice.
school.
Cool, very cool. That's an awesome program. Like that's something that like I really wish would have been, high school, college, all that stuff came after I was out of school. So jealous that the opportunity you guys get. That's really amazing. And I like, when I can, I like to work with the clubs and give my time. And there's a couple high school clubs that I work with, and I go to their meetings and do speak. Now this year I'm gonna do some more Zoom stuff for them. So I guess if anybody works with like teams or like high school teams or college teams and things like that, and they're looking for hit me up if you guys ever want to do some kind of like Zoom seminar type stuff. I do that kind of stuff for fun and work with schools and when I can. So
yeah, I'm thinking about doing joining a club this year, but we'll see.
Nice. Cool, very cool.
Yeah, that's great, man.
Know if your dad's adopting anybody else.
Yeah, you might have another person that wants to get adopted. That live scope's sweet, dude. You're gonna like that. It's cool that you got a new boat and you got some live scopes, some new electronics, and you're gonna be fishing the BFLs. That's
Yeah.
you got some big plans for next year. That's awesome. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Chad's from Wisconsin, so is it just the Wisconsin High School League? Is that what you're fishing?
Yeah, there's a bunch of just the TBF events I've fished. I haven't fished any of the bass ones, but me and my friend are thinking about doing one on Hartwell, the World, the TBF
Sure.
Worlds.
Hartwell's a cool lake. What time of year is that?
It's end of July, I think.
Could be a little stingy, but it's probably be an interesting time, I bet, at Hartwell, the midsummer.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like cane pile time or schooling. Like I've never, there's not many tournaments that I can recall July at Hartwell, so I'm not sure exactly how that would set up.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I haven't ever been down there. I haven't really fished out of Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Yeah. I mean, the live scope will be a key deal for bait, I would think, any time of year down at Hartwell. So that would be a great place to use it. So, and I think, so you'd have that going for you. The other thing that's cool about Hartwell, and I've been down to Clarks Hill and some of those places in Hartwell in the past, but that community just embraces fishing and tournaments. And like the cool thing is they roll out the red carpet in those communities, and you really feel welcome when you roll. It's different than up here, right? Like, sure, I mean, high school tournaments, the communities accept that, but up in Minnesota, Wisconsin, there's not necessarily a lot of communities that love to see tournaments roll in. But down there, they really embrace that. So that's a cool experience.
Bradley, thanks, man. Really, really appreciate that. Really appreciate it.
Sycamore says, how did your school fare this year in its tournaments? How did you do, and what were some of the highlights?
We didn't do very well. I only fished 2 high school ones, and we finished like 44th in Worlds, which wasn't terrible, but
That was like 400, so that's actually pretty good.
yeah, the river was packed during that tournament. A lot of places you went, there were people there.
Yeah. Loomis IMX.
Yeah, it's I got some GLXs and some Titaniums too.
Yeah.
I wish. I just used the cheaper Bass X and the Mojo Bass.
Hey, next Christmas, man. Next Christmas.
Yeah, baby steps.
Baby steps.
That's awesome. We're just giving you a hard time, Logan. No, that's cool. I mean, yeah, it's. I think it's awesome. Like when families invest in their kids fishing, and I know not everybody can do that, but like a lot of other families, spend money on their kids a lot of different ways. And I think when you invest in kids that do outdoor stuff, whether it's hunting or fishing or anything else, I think that's really cool, because I think you're setting them on a path that's just going to be a good path for life. And you learn a lot of things, just good learning, life lessons, grounded kids. Like for the most part, kids that fish, they don't get into a lot of trouble. So I think all in all, it's a good deal, to be honest.
Yeah, I know around us, there's not a lot of kids that fish. At our high school, it's basically me and my friend, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you often get compared to Keith Combs?
Dude, I get that all the time, man. I was down at I'm trying to pick one of the times that it's happened. One that pops in my head is I was fishing that Toyota owners tournament on Pickwick the first year we went down there, which I didn't do good in that one either. But Ott Defoe was standing out on the dock in the morning when you go by. All the pros are out there, so you got. And he's like, Keith Combs, is that you? I said, no, man. If I was Keith Combs, I'd be standing up there on the dock with you. But yeah, I get that all the time, man. I even had there's a guy named Rob that lives on Kentucky Lake. He fishes the BFLs on Kentucky Lake. And the first time he met me, I was down there with my buddy Jonathan, and Jonathan knew Rob. I didn't know Rob, but Rob walks up to us, and he keeps looking at me. He was looking at me from afar, and that was kind of weird. And he finally walks up to Jonathan, and he's like, man, I thought that was Keith Combs, and I know Keith Combs. Whenever Keith Combs is in town fishing a Kentucky Lake event or something, he stays at my house. I know his wife, my wife and his wife are good friends, and I still thought that was Keith. And I was getting ready to walk up to you and ask you, what the heck are you doing at Kentucky Lake without calling me? So yeah, I've got that, man. It's crazy. I thought about getting a T-shirt that said "I'm not Keith Combs" on the back, but
see, that's what I thought. Drew says, I feel like you're a skinny Keith Combs. I feel like.
Right. Yeah, he's filled out a lot.
On your routes, you stay a little more svelte than Keith.
That's right. Yeah, and I got a little bit too much shag here. If I kind of trim this down, maybe cut it up a little bit tighter, look like him a little bit more. But
bummer, you just classic by one spot though. So there's that.
Yeah, he'll be back though, man. That's funny though. James Hetfield too. People have told me I look like James Hetfield, the Metallica front guy.
They have the classic. You should go down there. He's going to be working the expo, so you should get a picture with him.
Yeah, I sent a picture. The guy that I was talking about named Rob. I sent a picture of him or of me to Rob, and Rob sent it to Keith's wife, and she's like, "Yeah, I do kind of see the resemblance." So it's funny. Yeah, I should get a picture. That'd be great.
So Logan, we talked about you're going to try to fish more tournaments, co-angers. You got any activity like new baits or new techniques you're looking to work on this year?
Like I kind of want to work on like drop shotting and just stuff out deep. I want to get better out deep because I fished a lot more shallower.
Yeah,
and especially around us. Like a lot of people went out deep on the Madison chain.
Right. So I fished one NABC a while back with Josh Douglas. We fished one team tournament on the Madison chain. That's my only experience. So I practiced for like a day and a half, and then we fished the tournament. But that's kind of an interesting chain with the different lakes. There's some shallow water, and then you've got, was it Monona and
Wabisa, Keeganza, and Mendota.
Yeah, and Mendota's I don't think we could get into Mendota.
There's a lock, so they normally don't let you go there during the tournaments.
Interesting chain for sure. What other lakes do you like in the Madison area? What are your favorite places to fish?
We just normally fish the Madison chain. There's not really a lot of. There's Lake Wisconsin. I like going to the Wisconsin River when I had the tracker type boat.
Right.
You could get into places that people couldn't, and there are a lot of big smallies up there.
Cool. I feel like if you can crack the Madison chain and learn how to catch them shallow and deep there and catch both the smallies and largemouth, if you can learn to understand that lake, you can apply, like that's a very diverse lake and chain. If you can figure out how to catch them from one end of Waubesa to the other, the deep side to the shallow side, that will set you up to do well in a lot of places for sure.
Yeah, it got pounded this year, that's for sure.
Sure. Yeah, being the main body of water and close to kind of like Madison, right? So
yeah.
What new baits in 2020 impressed, disappointed you? I think we could all probably talk about this. Does anybody have any? I would say impressed. BFE, kind of impressed with. I've liked the BFE. I didn't get to use it a ton, but what I did, I liked. I think what else I knew. I fished maybe not a new bait for everybody, new to me. The Crush 75 flat from 6 cents. I did well early in the year on that. Was impressed with that bait. Gosh, there's something how many new baits I really used. I'm trying to rack my brain on what else I used that was new this year. The D-bomb, new to me. Like I've always had D-bombs, but I really started using them more. So I built a lot of confidence in the D-bombs this year. Those are probably the baits that kind of like rose to the top that were different than what I had been throwing for maybe the last 5 years. Disappointing baits. I'm trying to think if I bought anything that I was disappointed in. Feel free to chime in if you guys have anything that comes to the top of your mind.
I just messed around with like the shad wrap a lot this year.
It's a good cold water cranking bait for sure.
Yeah, shad wrap's a good one. For me, one that comes up that I've been happy with is like the Cumberland Pro came out with a new underspin. They redesigned the underspin, and that sucker's been a fish catcher for me. I've fished an underspin off and on for the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 years, but this year I kind of really got into them a bunch in the fall, and that one shined for me. The BFE, man, that's a good one too. You mentioned it. When that first started getting some attention on Bass Talk Live, I bought a couple packs of them, and I don't know, they're a fish catcher. They're something different. Probably the launch frog was a little bit disappointing. I did a video on that, and I hadn't really I hadn't given it enough time, but it's a nice soft frog. But the thing I don't like about it is the hooks stuck out too far from the body, and you really, on the cast, you really have to feather that spool and encourage it to flip over and land on its belly, because if it lands upside down, it's a wasted cast. That's really the ones that come to mind for me. Some of that 6 cents plastic, that stuff seems to be pretty cool. They came up with some new designs. Yeah, those are kind of cool.
I haven't played with those. I bought some of the quivers. I just didn't use them a lot. Like I honestly just didn't fish them. I'm not going to say they were good or bad. I just didn't fish them. That was one bait I kind of bought some of that I just didn't fish a lot of. I will say a piece of equipment. This is on a D-bond, but the EWG ringed hook, right? So it's an EWG hook, but it's got. Just push it down so you can see.
You just pull that out of your hat. Where'd that come from? It just all of a sudden there it is.
Over here.
Oh, okay.
See that? But it's got a little ring. Let me pull the weight up. That you tie to the ring instead of the hook. And for whatever reason, my hookups on flipping grass, like through the roof. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it gets more bites because it kind of gets more free action as it falls, but my hookups have been amazing. So I mean, it's kind of I don't know, it's not sexy, but that was a good one for me.
I see Kenny on there said something about the. I'm sorry, Logan. Kenny said something about the Tokyo rig, and that's something that I played around with it a little bit last year, but I did fish it a little more this year, and that's kind of a neat little bait. It looks like it wouldn't get bites, but it does. That wire doesn't seem to bother the fish, so that's a pretty cool little bait.
Yeah, I picked up both of those, the ringed hooks and the Tokyo rigs. I want to try those out.
Yeah, there's some good flipping on. Was it Winona or Monona? Like that?
Yeah.
Well, to flip.
Yeah.
Drew says BFE and fit side. I can see that. I didn't buy any fit sides. I might this year. That was a VMC. Gamakatsu also makes a ring DWG. Chad Edding says the Bass tungsten jigs and the ring WD EWG hooks. And I did my top 5 video, so I just did that video this Monday. So if anybody wants like my top MV, what I called my MVBs, my most valuable baits of the year, go ahead and check out that video, and I kind of cover those in detail. Ryan says the Trash Panda, not really a fan, as a disappointing frog. I'm assuming, Kenny, you're saying Tokyo rig was impressive, or you found it to be good. Maybe it was disappointing. I don't know. I fished a little bit. I caught a few fish, but I never went out, and I didn't fish it a ton. I never went out on a day and like, man, this was the deal. I never felt like I was getting more bites because of that.
Yeah, I just fished it, just tinkering, trying something different. I don't know. Well, I'm the same way as you, as far as I don't know if most likely I could have caught those fish other ways as well. But it's just fun. Yeah, it's still fun to throw it every once in a while. It's something
I'm
different.
not knocking it. I'm not endorsing it at this point. But figuring it out. What's your personal best? Jay asks Logan.
It's 5 pounds, just right around 5 pounds.
Cool. It's a good fish.
Is that a largie or smallie?
Largie, and then I also caught almost a 5-pound smallie on Lake Mille Lacs this year when I went up there bed fishing.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Flatworm. Yeah, I had some flat worms and a few flat-nosed minnows, and I didn't use them a ton. Although the accent in general in the last 2 years has kind of been in my rotation a little more for like skipping for like around docks and stuff. And instead of a dinger, I've been using the general a little bit more. So
yeah, that Maxent, what is it? The game creature, the game hog, or you know what I'm talking about? I can't remember the name of it.
Their beaver version. Yeah.
Yeah. That little sucker, my team partner, Jerry, he's always throwing that on a swing head behind me. And man, when they're in a funk and they won't bite, something about that, that Maxent, I'm talking down here in Southeast Missouri. I know it's a big deal for the smallmouth, but it works on the largemouth too, especially if you're dead sticking it and you're letting it sit for, 5, 6, 7, 10 seconds. It seems like I think it actually draws fish to that bait. It just seems like the slower you fish it, the more bites you get with it. And there's days when he's just crushed them on it. And, I can't hardly get bit moving something a lot faster up in the front of the boat. It's pretty impressive stuff.
Whether it draws them or if they're just looking at it and then it makes them commit. One of the two, right?
Yeah, something's going on with it.
Chapo, hair jig, Nico, snap tube, swim worms. Nice. When you say hair jig, are you talking like preacher hair jig? Or are you talking like finesse, smally, 3/16, 3/32 hair jig, John?
Mm-hmm.
Preacher, or are you talking about like these little guys?
Little marabou jigs.
I've been playing around with the hair jigs this year.
What happened to the goby baits up north? Seemed like that hype died. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, like some of those poor boy baits and things like that.
Like the dark sleeper.
Yeah, I mean the dark sleeper still pretty. Like I hear a lot of guys talking about the dark sleeper, but I hear them talking about it in general, not necessarily like smallie lakes or goby lakes. But yeah, I don't know. You don't see that like the goby shaped plastics don't really seem to be a thing. Like the Maxent worms and things like that seem to like override those in the last 2 years probably.
Yeah, David says the Maxent anything is legit.
That's good.
On smallies.
All bass, but smallies even more so for sure.
Mm-hmm. 1/2 ounce black hair jig. Yep.
1/8 ounce.
1/8 ounce.
Tiny ones, yeah. Tokyo rig a lizard. Shh.
Okay. Okay.
I can see that.
You can put just about anything on the Tokyo rig. I did a baby brush hog a lot. Caught fish doing that.
Nice. Yeah,
I fish those hair jigs a lot for trout. I do a lot of trout fishing, and but the ones I'm throwing are like 64th ounce. I throw them all the way up to 1/100th, 1/80th, 1/64th, 1/32nd. It's a fly rod, so you can throw just about anything. But I'm usually throwing like the crappie. They're a hair jig, but they're made out of like synthetic material, like doll hair, that kind of stuff, with some flashaboo tied in there. My buddy up the street, he ties some really killer crappie jigs, and they're like a 32nd of an ounce. So I'm throwing that on a like 6-foot ultralight with 4-pound mono, and that's a killer bait around here for crappie and bass, just anything that likes to eat bait fish. But I don't really throw those 1/8 ounce, the bigger ones, for when I'm seriously fishing for bass. It's usually just pond fishing when I'm throwing those smaller marabous.
Really, I mean, not saying you can't catch a largemouth, but it really seems like it's a smally deal.
Smally deal.
Fairly clear water, pre-spawn, post-spawn, funks. You can use them all year, but like there's windows for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Driftwood says he went to the lax through it and only caught a 3 3/4 largemouth. So yeah, I mean, so when it's on, but it's not like all the time. It's kind of a hit or miss bite in my experience. And it is. Some people say it's fun to fish. I don't think it's that fun to fish at all. What were you gonna say, Logan?
When we went to Mille Lacs, the hair jig played pretty big role catching a lot of the fish.
Is that like a, what time of year does it seem to shine? Is it like a pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn, or
spring more so? I mean, it can be all year, but I think it's probably strongest in the spring. Pre-spawn and post-spawn. But I've seen fish get caught in July and August on it as well.
Yeah, so typically when they're up shallower for the most part?
Can be, yeah, not super deep, but I mean anything under 10 feet. But yeah, it's probably better when they're 3 to 6.
Yeah, okay.
And you want relatively good water clarity most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't need to buy any of those. I got too many baits to try to.
I mean, if you come up there to visit your buddy, then you're going to want to get some. But honestly don't think you need to invest in where you live.
Okay.
That'd be my guess.
Yeah, I don't.
Table rock like that, probably, but there's probably other baits that are just as good.
Yeah, those guys throw grub down there a lot. Just a single tail grub. It seems to be
better. Scrubs.
Minute scrubs are awesome, even in the cold water. That's probably, if I'm gonna throw something Texas rigged with like a 1/4 ounce weight, the minute scrub's probably what it's gonna be. It's either gonna be that or it's gonna be a Zoom speed crawl. I don't know why exactly, but doesn't matter why. It's just that it does work.
Try the float and fly. You could probably use those flies you got. Floating flies.
Yeah, man, I tried that about 5 or 6 years ago. I had a long spinning rod, and I don't know. I tried it once. That's the problem. I didn't try it twice. Didn't work for me.
Ever throw the suspending plastic shad wrap? No, but I've tinkered with shad wraps and made them suspending. How about you guys? Ever suspending shad wraps?
Oh yeah. Put a bunch of suspend dots on the front, on the breast part of it, or weight the hooks or something. Actually, it's funny. On the live stream the other night, me and Jay were talking about that. That's one of his go-to baits in the wintertime for Lake of the Ozarks is a big shad wrap. We were talking about weighting shad wraps to make them suspend, and I'd fished a BFL at Kentucky Lake several years ago, and the guy that I was fishing with, he brought 2 spinning rods. This was like a second week of March. It was 41 to 43 degree water temps, pretty stained, and he brought 2 spinning rods, and he had shad wraps on both of them. He had like a hot mustard colored one. He was very confident. He knew what he was going to do. And anyway, he would buy those, and he would put them in a drill press and drill out just put a little drill bit into the breast, drill out a little hole, and then he'd drop a BB or some kind of steel shot or something in there, and then epoxy back over it. And they were suspended. They weren't totally suspend, but when you let off of them, they would just really slowly rise up off the bottom.
Super slow rise. Yeah.
Super slow rise, man. He'd just crawl it along those rocks, and he'd hit a big rock, and he'd just let off of it. He wasn't even really working it sideways. He was just reeling it, just reeling it. I think he got 12th place in the tournament, so it was working pretty good for him.
Yeah, I think you'd be better off making your regular Shadow Wrap suspend than buying the suspended ones. I think the wood version is better. That's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah, menace scrubs are good on everything. Swim jigs, chatterbaits, regular jigs, fish naked on a jig. There's no bad one. You can flip it.
Yeah, it's definitely a good solid plastic.
Driftless says he was impressed with Mille Lacs. Hit Minnewaska the same trip, more success. Mille Lacs has bigs, and it's got a ton of fish in it, but the pressure has gotten insane lately. So it's not what it once was, even 5 years ago, as far as how easy it could be. It still got them, but it's a much tougher lake than it used to be. Minnewaska has a crazy amount of fish in it for the size of that lake. And I fished a tournament there 2 years ago, and like that lake is overrun with bass. It's nutty how many fish are in largies and smallies in Minnewaska. It's a good lake.
That'd be a good lake to test out a new technique.
Yeah.
Or get confidence.
Like almost, I mean, like in Logan, like if you drive an hour or two from your place and you go up north or out west, like the fish get abundant and dumb. I'm sure you've made some trips to outstate Wisconsin. The fishing can be pretty silly at times.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I want to come up there and get in on some of that sometime. It's on my bucket list for sure. Just haven't made it happen yet.
Honestly, your boat, super sweet for a lot of the lakes. Like we have a lot of like sub 1,000 acre lakes that are just chock full of bass. Like you'd be in your element. Yeah, like there'd be so much water that you could access and get into in tiny little lakes. That's pretty amazing. They just don't get pressured for bass.
So are a lot of those lakes 10 horsepower limits, or are they no wake?
We have very few lakes that have any kind of horsepower restriction or motor restriction. The only ones are the ones that are right in like the Twin Cities areas. There's only those are a handful. I think probably less than 10 lakes that I know of in the metro area that are power or horsepower restricted or motor restricted. There's some good ones like Calhoun, which is right in Minneapolis. You can it's no gas motors, but that's a sneaky good lake. But it's tough to get to. The parking sucks. It's like there's like 3 parking spots. It's kind of a big thing. There's a few other lakes that have those, but there's so many lakes that are the same size and have good fishing that you don't really have to mess with those.
Yeah, I know. Like in Jersey, you always see Iconel, like they're talking about those trolling motor only lakes, and those guys have those boats with the torpedoes. They're like a big souped up electric motor, I guess it is. So those are real popular up there.
How big is what kind of thrust are you doing? A 24 or 36 on yours?
I guess got 24 right now. It's a 74-pound thrust, 24 volt, 74-pound thrust. But I did order an Ultrex, and it's on back order. So 80-pound Ultrex is, yes. Man, I'm so tired of, I'm going to sound like a little baby, but I'm so tired of trying to hold my boat out there offshore and just not being able to do it. And that's where the bait is at, and I just can't make it happen. So, yeah, it's coming, man. It's in the works. I'm excited about it. Jay's out, man. Jay, take care, brother. It's good to see you on here.
Okay.
I gotta get going too.
All right. Well, thanks for joining, Logan. Take care. Years. Tune into the streams and let us know how that LiveScope, once you get it mounted, you start fishing. I want to hear how it goes.
Okay. Thank you.
See you, Logan. Take care, buddy.
Fishing out of yaks. Yeah, bass and pike left and right. I'm sure he's talking about Minnewaska, but like it's just chock full of fish. Honestly, that lake could use some more selective harvest. Like they would need to eat some more bass and pike out of that lake to eat some of them smaller ones, so they can be a little bigger. But
yeah, you got to harvest that stuff. I'm bad about it. I haven't kept the fish in forever, but it really hurts the lake if you just throw everything back. So.
Cool deal. Last call if anybody wants to come in for the last few minutes. Otherwise, we'll probably wrap this up in the next 5-10 minutes, kind of keep it to about the 2-hour mark. I think we covered a lot of water. I think I kind of talked about all the things and the plans for this year. The push for 3,000 is real. I was hoping to maybe sneak it in under the wire by tomorrow, but I don't think that's going to happen.
You're right there, man. You're right there.
Like we'll probably hit 2,900 before the end of the year, but we probably won't hit 3,000. So that's cool. Which is really cool because like coming in, like I spent almost all of 2019, I think, getting my channel from like 700 to 1,000. And this year I pretty much went from like 1,000 to almost 3,000. So I feel like slowly but surely the snowball is starting to just get a little momentum, which feels cool. And it's really rewarding. And like, obviously it's fun just to make the content. And I totally love the streaming aspect of this. It's just like, I think even if the channel wasn't growing with, I mean, just the moderate views that we get and the interaction, I think is totally worth it. I think it scratches an itch for me that is real, as far as like, you know, not having club meetings and not traveling as much and just, you know, shooting the breeze. Like, I don't feel like I don't even think that we're on a stream when we're just talking fishing. You know, I don't, when you do your streams, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's a Zoom call. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Once you get in it, man, once you get in it, you're focused. You're just hanging out with another dude who likes to fish. It's fun.
Sure. So like that's not going anywhere. I plan on doing at least 40, 45 streams this year. So, you know, one a week, plus kicking out at least one. And I think I'm working on a way to do some stream lights. So you're probably going to see like one fishing video / tip video. You're going to get a stream, and you're probably going to get like a stream highlight and maybe a YouTube short every week. So, yeah, thanks guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
Help out, you know, take your favorite video or stream and send it to a buddy in an email or a text or a DM and let them know about the channel. That's the one way that like guys like Gabe and I can grow and get in front of people, because you know, I think we are a very specific niche group. We're trying to keep, like, I think you said, keep it real, right? We're like all about learning and fishing. We're not doing like the flashy challenges and the gimmicky stuff. Right. So if you can help us get in front of your fellow hardcore bass anglers, the kind of people that would enjoy this content, that's the best way to help us out for sure. So if you're looking for a late stocking stuffer, you know, share my content with a friend, or that would be awesome. But, you know, otherwise just keep tuning in, you know, keep enjoying it, keep interacting, keep, you know, hitting the thumbs up. That's what fuels our fire and keeps us going. I mean, I think we make the content because we like making it, but when we get those comments and those DMs, and that just makes it all more rewarding. I don't know. What do you think, Gabe?
Yeah, 100%, man. You summed it up. It's all about sharing the videos, and because, you know, we're small fish in a big pond. Hopefully we'll be medium-sized fish in a big pond someday. We're not. I'm certainly not a touring professional. I'm not a guy you're going to see on TV, but I still am passionate about fishing. I love doing the content, and I will continue to do it as long as I can. But the way to get that stuff out there and to help our channels grow is to just share it with a buddy that likes fishing, especially if you know somebody that's in the area of where this content's being created. And then leave comments, man. I've said this in a couple videos. Even if you say good video, or thanks, or your video sucks, or whatever, it's a comment and it helps. I saw somebody talking about the algorithm a while ago. The algorithm it's kind of a mystery to me, but I do know that one of the best ways to support a channel is by leaving some comments and the likes and thumbs up and all that stuff. And it's just little things.
If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down.
Right, right. I wish they would let you know why, though, so I can improve it. That's the part I always.
And if there's something you see in my content, like, you're not going to hurt my feelings, and I'm not going to like block you if you're like, hey, I like this video, but I couldn't deal with the wind noise, or like, man, I you know, make them shorter or make them longer, or like talk more about the baits or talk less about the baits, or more fish catches or less fish catches. Yeah, you know, whatever.
So that jerk bait was Edo Shiner, not natural whatever shad, or the name of it. Sometimes I get that messed up. Sometimes I got so many jerk baits in my box, I'm pulling them out. I'm trying to remember exactly what color, what it's called. So yeah, sometimes that happens. But yeah, if we say something like silly, let us know.
Give us the good, give us the bad, give us the like whatever. I mean, just be honest. Like, let us know what you think. Like, you know, all criticism and comments are welcome, and feedback for sure. That's, you know, the only way these things get better is, you know, you tell us what you want, right? So,
right.
Cool, very cool.
Definitely, man. Yeah, you're doing a great job, dude. I really enjoyed the live streams. You've had some heavy hitters it's been pretty cool. I'm glad you're going to be doing some of the little cut streams and stuff where you got little 5-7 minute sections, all the nuggets and stuff. That's a great idea. I'm looking forward to seeing all those. But,
yeah, for sure. And I know you said you want to get better on your editing. So if you see something and you want, like, hit me up, we can chat about it offline.
Sure.
I can give you, I mean, not that I'm like any kind of pro editor, but if there's any way I can help you out or give you any insights, I can let you know. I got 2 different videos on how to cut a hat into a visor, CG3. Otherwise, you can just mail me one and I'll make you one. I'll send it back to you. Even pros mess up colors for sure. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, we're right at 2 hours. We'll wrap this up. I want to thank everybody that tuned in. Thank everybody that tuned in all year long, whether it was tonight, back in April, March when I first started, if you watched the replay, whatever, just thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hitting, whether you liked, whether you commented, anything. I truly, honestly, deep down appreciate the community that we're building together. It's been amazing. We went from, far less subs and far less views and far less live watchers. And it's really cool to see everybody coming together as a community. So I really appreciate that. As I mentioned before, you can catch this, the replay tomorrow. I'll have the podcast up tomorrow at some point. So if you'd rather listen to this, just search HellaBass on your favorite podcast app. There'll be the links in the description. That's another way to grow. But otherwise, Happy New Year's. Hope everybody had a good holidays. Be safe out there. And as always, here to help you guys catch more bass and suck less. And until next time, tight lines, everybody.
All right. See you guys.